Tonight on DC News Now at 5.
The partial federal government shutdown means no boo at the National Zoo this year.
Little kids should not have to bear the burden of political decisions.
But we'll tell you where else you can go for Boo at the Zoo.
It's Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we're telling you the signs of financial abuse.
It may cost you more to remodel your kitchen or home after new tariffs kicked in. How local shops say it may help or hurt their businesses.
Then a breezy Wednesday. Meteorologist Damon Matson tells us when those temperatures will take a dip.
And learning to save a life one compression at a time. See how DC kicked off Sudden Cardiac Arrest Month today.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
And thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 5. I'm Mark Hall.
And good evening. I'm Annalisa Gale. Today, DC's top federal prosecutor announcing a crackdown on sex offenders all across the district.
U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro announced 25 arrests of improperly registered offenders, some of them convicted of the most severe charges of rape or sexual assault.
DC News Now's Randy Bass joining us live in Northwest DC. And Randy, what are officials pushing for in terms of laws in the district?
Yes, Pirro says more than 24 offenders were not only improperly registered, but they were also living near areas that children like to hang out, like here at this playground. But right now, there's actually no law on the books that prevents them from living nearby. Today, U.S. Attorney for D.C. Jeanine Pirro releasing this map showing where those 25 sex offenders who had failed to register were allegedly living near areas frequented by children like schools and playgrounds. She says at least 8 of the 25 arrested had committed crimes against children before, and she has serious concerns about them doing it again.
When children are known to frequent an area, we know that pedophiles make it their business to be in the same area.
Those arrests came as part of a larger 7-week surge operation conducting registration and compliance checks on more than 800 sex offenders across D.C.
Registration alone does not protect victims. At least 2 of these offenders, or maybe even 3, reoffended during the period of their mandated registration.
Now, Pirro and the U.S. Marshal Service are pushing for stricter laws surrounding where convicted sex offenders can live upon their release.
Whether they be pedophiles or sex offenders in general, are not mandated by any law to live away from a school, a playground, a rec center, a children's hospital.
There must be severe penalties when they do not follow these rules and requirements.
According to the D.C. Police Department's sex offender registration page online, unless the courts have placed specific registrations on the offender's release, he or she has a right to live wherever he or she chooses. Pirro has now called on the D.C. Council to act and change the laws that are on the books. But these laws, they actually differ even just here in our own backyard in the DMV. Maryland has similar rules in place. The state does not restrict where offenders are able to live upon their release, while Virginia does have some laws that are currently on the books that do restrict where those offenders can live, including within 500 feet of school zones for certain high-level offenders. In Northwest, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
All right, Randy, thank you. We just saw behind Randy there, people were outside, some with their pets. We even heard dogs at one point there.
Yeah, it turned into a pretty nice day out there that people are trying to enjoy, I'm sure, after how chilly, gray it really has been through the first half of the week. Yeah, that sunshine, it made all the difference out there, folks, as we got that boost that we needed. Look at our temperatures for the first time this week, and really since back on Saturday, I'd say. We've had temperatures make it back into the 70s here. Now they're starting to taper off as we approach sunset pretty rapidly, but hey, 70 degrees. Kaiser to Martinsburg to Frederick, 70 72. D.C. Waldorf to Manassas, not bad whatsoever for a mid-October day. Now, the few clouds we've had in place out there at times today, they're on their way out. Breezy northwesterly winds are going to keep going with a clear sky in place then, and that is going to lead to a decent drop in our temperatures, especially after the sun goes down. Now, it'll be a slow go at first, but by 8 o'clock, we're in the lower 60s. By 11 o'clock, we're going to start to notice the 40s and 50s popping up across most of the region. Now, it is going to get chilly tonight, but not quite cold enough to be worried about frost or a hard freeze. Now, tomorrow night, different story, and that's why we already have a freeze watch up along and west of the I-81 corridor through Thursday night into early Friday morning, as we are expecting our coldest temperatures of the week here in due time. So we'll talk about just how cold it's going to get before the week wraps up and when we might see some wet weather again in our forecast. We'll have those updates for you here in just a bit.
All right, Damon, thank you. In Montgomery County now, officials have now identified the man who died on the Billy Goat Trail on Monday. U.S. Park Police identifying him as 53-year-old Todd Funkhauser. Funkhauser was a physical education teacher at Sugar Land Elementary School for Loudoun County Public Schools. The school system saying he was an employee for over 30 years. Right now, an investigation is still underway.
An update tonight, the 53-year-old man that was hit by a pickup truck last month died from his injuries. D.C. police say that John Holland was hit by a truck towing a cargo trailer as he was walking. It happened September 29th on Montana Avenue in Northeast. We're told the investigation continues.
Police say they've now recovered a man's body after he jumped from a bridge while trying to get away from police. We're told that on October 1st, police tried pulling over Muhammad Hassan for reckless driving, but instead of stopping, they say he led police on a chase through Prince William County, Virginia, and eventually onto I-395. Officers say he then jumped off that bridge. His body was found in the Potomac River.
New tonight, a man is in custody after several ATM skimmers were found in the DMV again, this time at 2 county gas stations in Prince George's County earlier this month, and police have identified and arrested the suspect who they say placed him there. He's been identified as Pietro Federico, and police say that he placed skimming devices at ATMs inside at least 2 gas stations. Police recovered the skimmer devices, preventing the suspect from stealing anyone's personal information, including bank card numbers.
If we see anything protruding out of the inserts or cameras, or just they're not operating correctly, just notify either law enforcement or the facility personnel. We encourage users to just monitor your transactions, monitor your credit, and report anything suspicious, not only to your bank, but to law enforcement as well.
And that suspect remains in custody in Fairfax County, where an investigation continues. Police are also reminding shoppers that Tap and Pay or Apple Pay are safer methods in stores, and if possible, always use an ATM inside of a bank.
Well, a new poll from a Virginia lobbying group shows a growing number of people are against a casino in Tysons, Virginia. FFXNow.com reporting the poll from Freedom, Virginia shows roughly 50% of people are strongly against it. The poll also shows widespread opposition regardless of political preference, with over 70% of all parties rejecting the casino.
Day 15 of the government shutdown, and a federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration from laying off thousands of federal workers. It comes after the administration started issuing layoff notices Friday. That San Francisco judge sided with unions, arguing the dismissals were illegal. Notices were sent to more than 4,000 workers already.
And with no end in sight, federal workers are feeling the pressure. Many are now furloughed or working without pay.
DC News Now's Marielle Carbone live in Georgetown. Marielle, how are businesses stepping up to help?
Well, Mark, all up and down Wisconsin Avenue, businesses are trying to show their support for our federal workers. Some are offering discounts on meals and coffees, others things like a free box of flowers.
There just seems to be a lot of uncertainty. This shutdown cycle has really amplified that feeling.
It's why Becky Waddell, founder of Take Care and District Mineral, wants to offer impacted workers a way to recenter.
And making space for people to feel like they can walk in and kind of forget all of the just troubles.
The wellness store is offering 10% off spa services for federal workers and a discount on products.
We want to support them just as much as they've supported us in times that have been hard for us.
Georgetown Main Street put out a call to all of our small businesses, and we said, hey, what are you doing to...
Rachel Shank is the executive director of Georgetown Main Street and says about a dozen businesses along the corridor are offering shutdown specials for federal workers, from discounted food and books to free flowers.
Everyone that is here really loves D.C., and our federal government workers are a part of that community. So they recognize that it's been a tough time for everyone this year, so they're just looking for an opportunity to give back.
Down the street at Caspian Crust,
it's our community.
Sizu Solar says they're offering 15% off coffee and 20% off paninis for federal workers.
Whatever they need, we are here. We are family with our community. We just want to support them from our hearts.
So if you are a government worker and you're looking to get in on these deals, you'll want to make sure you have your federal ID with you. Some of those other businesses in the area that are doing specials include Compass Coffee and Lantern Bookshop. Reporting live in Georgetown, I'm Marielle Carbone, DC News Now.
All right, Marielle, thank you for continuing coverage and also information about resources available and to see how local officials are responding. Head to our website, dcnewsnow.com.
Well, a new 3,000-pound ice sculpture spelling out democracy is slowly melting away on the National Mall. Standing in front of the U.S. Capitol and 3rd Street, artists say the piece, called Last Call Democracy, Iced, speaks to America's weakened democracy. It's not the first time the artists have done this.
Well, democracy has been melting, and it's not just today. The first time we melted down democracy was in 2006. And that was on the anniversary of the Iraq War.
The words democracy melting as a visual reminder to the people of this country that democracy may never be permanent and that we have to get out here to fight.
The sculpture was developed by a campaign led by Ben Cohen, founder of Ben & Jerry's.
The Metropolitan Transportation Board delaying a project that would have added express lanes to I-495. The board unanimously voted to delay the project today, and the I-495 South Express Lanes project would extend the express lanes by 11 miles from the Springfield interchange to the 210 interchange in Prince George's County. Leaders say that the project doesn't seem complete.
It could be revisited in 2026 or at any time in the future. I don't think anyone should think about this project as being on the 5-yard line. There is a lot of work to do.
Council members say they want VDOT to come back with a revised plan next year.